Parents, it's that time of year where you're picking a summer camp, and St. Thomas High School's Aquinas Academy has something for every student. Rising 3rd through 8th grade boys and girls get to excel in athletics and academics. Students get to conduct experiments and receive personalized instruction in the classroom. And outside, they get to train and play with the best on state-of-the-art fields. Aquinas Academy offers something for every child, ensuring a safe, fun, and productive experience for each camper who walks through the door. Learn more about Aquinas Academy in our summer camp guide at houston.citycast.fm. The future of art is on view today at Artec House, Houston's original destination for cutting-edge digital immersive experiences you won't find anywhere else. Artec House's current exhibition, Time and Space, features a collaboration with NASA's James Webb and Hubble Space Telescopes for a journey through the cosmos like you've never seen it before. My kids loved it, so it's perfect for families, date nights, student groups, and more. Plus, it's located conveniently in the Heights just off the MKT trail. Check out artechhouse.com to purchase your tickets today. Today on CityCast Houston, it was a record-breaking year at the rodeo. Plus, why we could feel more pain the next time a disaster hits Houston. I'm joined by Shafaq Patel of Axios Houston to break down those stories and more. It's Tuesday, March 25th. I'm Rahil Ramzanali, and here's what Houston's talking about. Shafaq, the rodeo, we just set a big record here in the city, and I want to know, how many times did you go?
I went only once this year, but it was a great time.
Well, Shafaq, you were one of the 2.7 million people who went to the rodeo and broke the attendance record from 2017. ABC 13 had that number. It was a fantastic year, and it just felt like things were booming at the rodeo, right?
Yeah, 2.7 million. Holy cow. I saw a lot of spring breakers coming, so I guess that's why there was an uptick, but it was a busy year.
Shafaq, not only was the attendance record-breaking, but the auction also set a new record. So the art auction that happens, throughout the rodeo, there's so many different things happening, but this art auction has become one of the marquee money-raising events for the rodeo, which then, of course, provides scholarships and funds for students throughout the year. Well, check this out. Sophie Zhou, who is a student at Kincaid, set a record by selling an art piece for $276,000. That is unbelievable.
Did you see that painting, though? That was beautiful.
It's really beautiful.
That was stunning.
It is. I probably would have tapped out at $273,000. Okay, because that's my budget, but 276 is nuts.
Really, not 274? I think it was worth it.
Yeah, definitely worth it. What was your favorite memory from the rodeo this year?
Oh my God. I love the mutton busting. I think that's always a hit. I took my parents there actually for the first time, and they just got a good laugh from it.
That is so cool. Yeah, it was a busy year, of course, with the spring break crowds coming in, and I think I was a little surprised because even though the weather was fantastic and there really wasn't a bad day, I just thought with the, looming economic uncertainty right now, and then the concert lineup felt kind of flat when it was announced, I thought it was just going to be a meh year, but man, people are back outside.
People need to have fun.
That's it. They want to have fun, right?
Yeah, absolutely. People need to get out. They need to have fun. And they're just enjoying the moment because the weather's great. Why not?
Did you also see that the New York Times was covering the Houston rodeo? It is national news now.
I did. It's the biggest event in Houston. And I saw the New York Times coverage, amazing photographs, and it's big and people are traveling all over to visit a rodeo. I'm going to miss the great food, though. I think I always look year-round to eating the very interesting, odd foods at the rodeo. So I guess I have to wait for, the Renaissance Festival for the next food on a stick.
I know. It's funny. Why don't we just make rodeo food a year-round thing? Why don't we have just a place that sells deep fried butter and Oreos and Twinkies and all the weird pickle pizza, all that good stuff? Just have it year round. Why not?
But the law of diminishing returns. Will I be looking forward to the pickle pizza year round if I can get it year round?
Shafaq, I got one more story from the rodeo that kind of stole the headlines in the final weekend. I don't know if you saw this or not, but it was trending all over social media. But this guy, Colin Drum, he's a content creator. you probably don't know him, all right? But if you see him, you'll be like, I know this guy. And that's because he looks exactly like Houston Texans quarterback CJ Stroud. Now, the reason I'm bringing this guy up is because he posted a video where he walked into the rodeo and basically tricked staff that he is CJ Stroud. Like every single person stopped him to take a picture, and he looks just like CJ Stroud. It's scary.
Oh my God, that's wild. But you'd expect some sort of security maybe around, because I did see Simone Biles was at the rodeo this year, and there was a ton of security around her, rightfully so, I guess. And so, I guess the rodeo would know if it was actually a famous star.
Yeah. Like shout out to all the volunteers because it's all run by volunteers, and there were volunteers who were letting him in. But I don't know if I'm a volunteer, maybe just like thinking out loud, why would CJ Stroud be in a CJ Stroud jersey walking around the rodeo? Like that is the thing. Like you see this video, and I've linked it in our show notes, but this guy is literally wearing a CJ Stroud jersey, and he does look like him. So I get it. But like at some point, common sense has to kick in, right? Like, why would CJ Stroud be walking around in his jersey?
I would be fooled. So let's be honest, I would be fooled. But I've got to go see that video now.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. And it's really charming to see them like really excited to meet CJ Stroud, right? Like just shows you how excited people are about the Houston Texans. But in general, like the city loves CJ Stroud, right? And it's nice to see that. But yeah, this guy Colin Drum was going viral the other day. Man, this rodeo had it all. We had Journey's concert being stopped because of an electric fire. We had Simone Biles out there. We had the fake CJ Stroud walking around and getting in. And of course, all the great eats. I can't wait for the rodeo next year. And it'll be here before we know it, right, Shafak?
Oh, yeah. I'm counting down the days.
All right, Shafak, let's get to Texas under Trump. These are stories that are impacting us here locally, not only on the state level, but of course here in the city. I've got the first story here, and this is an update, a major one. Tilman Fertitta is going to be resigning as CEO of Landrys Inc. to become the U.S. ambassador to Italy if confirmed. Now, he had to file paperwork and, let the ethics committee know that, here's what's going to happen if I am confirmed. So he will be stepping away as CEO of Landrys Inc., but he will not be stepping away from the ownership of the Houston Rockets, which is, of course, in the NBA. He is the wealthiest person in Houston. And now we've got some traction on what is happening with that news that came out that he could be the ambassador to Italy.
Oh, that's really big news. I know he's such a big part of Landrys Inc. and all of the businesses that he does. So it's going to be interesting to see the shift that happens in the company, but also what he's going to be doing next because he is one of our big local billionaires.
Yeah, he really is. And man, it is a good time to be a billionaire right now because you will get some roles within the government, whether it be official like this or if you're working on the Department of Government Efficiency like Elon Musk is. You have a role, it seems like, if you are a billionaire with the Trump administration. By the way, his nomination was referred to the Senate Committee on Foreign Relations earlier this month, but it still has not received a hearing. So still waiting on that. Again, this is if he officially becomes the U.S. ambassador to Italy, then he will resign as CEO of Landrys Inc. Shafak, what is happening right now with FEMA and how could it impact us here in the city of Houston?
So Trump is looking to cut or slash FEMA. And as you know, that's a big disaster relief agency. And I think one of the biggest agencies that a lot of Houstonians know about is FEMA. Largely because, this past year, we had two large natural disasters. Right now, it's still in the works. Nothing has been finalized yet, but it's not very popular amongst even Republicans, with Ted Cruz speaking up about how important FEMA has been to provide disaster recovery.
Yeah, that is shocking that they were going to try to slash FEMA funds, right? Because again, it is so important, one, because after disaster strikes like we just went through, as you mentioned, we had the derecho, we had Hurricane Beryl come through the city just last year. It is hard on families, right? Like that damage, it is hard to pocket that cost, right? And it's hard to like pay for things. And FEMA comes in and helps it out. Now, it won't help you fully, but it's enough to maybe bridge the gap a little bit for families. And it's so important. It gets the city back up and running. Also, the relief that FEMA provides, right? The help that you need. It's just scary to think that if that were to be slashed, what happens, right? And of course, it impacts us here in the city of Houston, but also thinking about states that have more cities and towns in the rural section of that state, like how will it impact them?
Mhm.
It's scary.
Yeah. And so, of course, with where Texas is just geographically placed, we are getting hit the most. Um, the total disasters from over a decade ago, from 2015 to last year, Texas had the second most number of disasters hit us. And families are
Oh,
directly
wow.
impacted. The average annual funds that FEMA and HUD gives combined is about $1.4 billion to Texas. And Texas itself is not ready to cover those funds.
And HUD being U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, by the way, yeah, like what would the state do if they had to cover all of that? I know there's this big push of like less federal government involvement from the Trump administration and let the states govern. But the states, including Texas, they need this money. They need the federal help here.
Yeah. So the 1.4 billion that FEMA and HUD give combined, that's equal to about 1.8% of Texas' approximate budget or spending in 2023. So that is a big dollar amount that Texas would have to cover, and the cities would have to figure out how to provide a disaster recovery. If this does happen, it is still in the works.
Shafak, in your reporting, did you learn why they want to get rid of FEMA? Are they saying, that there's corruption or is there fraud? Like some of the talking points that we've heard when DOGE starts cutting programs. Have you heard why?
Yeah, so this is part of Big's Doge mission of trying to create some things more efficient and cut what they deem as unnecessary. There's also been some controversy with what's happening with FEMA. I know last fall there was an employee that was fired for giving preferential treatment or not going to all the homes and avoiding some homes that had Trump signs. And so I think maybe that might be why there's a target on their backs. That's what CNN reported. But overall, I think it's just part of Doge's big mission to be more efficient. And right now, there is a FEMA review council that's looking into FEMA overall.
Gotcha. We'll keep our eyes on that story and we'll see how this plays out because, again, this could impact Houston on a major scale. I hope it doesn't. That means we wouldn't have any hurricanes, right? And that means we're good. But look, let's just be honest. We're getting more natural disasters, and it seems like we're going through this every single year. So FEMA will play a role in that. So we'll keep our eyes on that one. The Texas coast is special to me, and it's always calling me. My family has made countless memories there, and just off the Texas coast sits a unique beach town marked with salty vibes and sun-soaked memories, Port Aransas. It's a place where family traditions naturally unfold, and you'll find beauty in the island views while taking time to relax between adventures. And with 18 miles of shoreline, there are plenty of adventures, from kayaking with the kids to fishing off the coast or simply cruising down the beach in a golf cart, soaking in the sounds of the Texas coast. That sounds wonderful. Start planning your getaway now with your friends and family because there's nothing like having multiple generations under one roof so everyone can enjoy those perfect beachfront mornings and that cool Gulf breeze in the evening. So many Texans have anchored their traditions to the island life in Port Aransas, and with one visit, you'll see why. Start your new favorite family tradition in Port Aransas, Texas. Plan your visit to Houston's beach at visitportaransas.com. Enjoying art during this perfect Houston spring weather is one of my favorite things to do living here, and you can do the same at the Bayou City Art Festival in downtown Houston, Saturday, March 29th and Sunday, March 30th. The Bayou City Art Festival is going to transform downtown Houston into an outdoor gallery and interactive art event as 250 different artists showcase their works. And if the art and weather aren't enough, there's going to be live entertainment stages, food trucks, a craft beer and wine garden, a VIP hospitality lounge, and more. They'll also have art to purchase for all price levels. I love taking in all the creativity while my kids enjoy the interactive art activities, all with the downtown skyline as our backdrop. Get your tickets online right now because physical tickets will not be sold at the festival. Adult tickets are $20 and a weekend pass is just $30. Or you can get access to the VIP lounge with a VIP ticket for $75. Buy your tickets now at BayouCityArtFestival.com. Hey, Shafak, opening day for the Houston Astros is coming up this Thursday at the newly renamed Daikin Park. That's going to take a while for me to change and not call it Minute Maid Park. And we're all excited about the Houston Astros, and we want to see how this team is going to look. They're rebuilding a little bit. Is the golden era officially over? But beyond the baseball, there are concerns not only within the Houston Astros, but across Major League Baseball that players who have these visas that are called P1 visas, those are visas for U.S. non-immigrants who are internationally recognized athletes, artists, and entertainers, basically allowing them to, enter the U.S. for specific events, competitions, or performances and be legally recognized. So players with these visas, there's some concern that they might not be able to travel for certain games. What is happening with that?
Yeah, so Trump is expecting to issue a travel ban on more than 3 dozen countries. And two of the countries that are on the list are Cuba and Venezuela. Now, if you're a big baseball fan, you know that there are a lot of stars that come from Cuba and Venezuela that are born from there.
Including Jose Altuve and Yordan Alvarez, by the way.
Yeah. We don't know what their status is, if they're citizens or not, but the travel ban is going to impact baseball stars who have the P1 visa. And that's going to make it difficult for people who are traveling back into the United States. And as we've seen in the past few weeks, a lot of people with even green cards are being stopped to re-enter the United States. So this is something that a lot of players are looking into right now.
Yeah, and Major League Baseball teams, they could be traveling to Canada. There are overseas games as well. We just saw the Dodgers playing in Tokyo, which was really cool to see. But yeah, when you have players who are, potentially on these visas, we're not sure, by the way, that if players are on the P1 visas or if Major League Baseball has been talking with the Trump administration right now about what will happen if this travel ban were to be put into place. But it's just that uncertainty and fear of, like, could these Major League Baseball players, in addition to just everyday people, right, be stopped one day and not allowed back into the country, even if they have the legal paperwork and the right visas?
Yeah, and it is also going to impact a lot of minor league baseball players as well, because a lot of major league have been in the US for long enough and have worked through the paperwork,
Mhm.
but the minor leagues are still likely on the P1 visas. And so it's going to directly impact them and how their future is going to look like.
Yeah, we'll keep our eyes on that one. Again, the Astros start up their season on Thursday, and we'll see what happens at the new Daikin Park. Also, I just want to give some love to the University of Houston. They just made their sixth straight Sweet 16, and Kelvin Sampson and the Cougars are going to be taking on Purdue on Friday. So shout out to them. Hopefully everyone's brackets are still alive and well, and they haven't been busted. If you pick U of H to win, this is going to be a tough road for them. Everybody knew that going in. But man, they are playing some good basketball. So congratulations to them. Hey, Shafak, I want to zoom in a little bit, going from Trump's policies to what's happening at the state ledge right now, where Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick is one step closer to fulfilling one of his promises of banning all THC products in Texas. SB3, which is the bill that is basically summing this all up, passed the Senate, and it would eliminate all THC products from Texas stores. All the Delta 8, Delta 9 products, which you see advertised at smoke shops. And not only that, but like even in drinks, Delta 8 is a popular addition to a lot of drinks right now. These will all be banned. I mean, this is wild.
Yeah, if this passes the House, this will be hard to regulate because something that has been legal and in the stores, and to take it out, I think it's going to be very interesting to regulate and see if this is going to enter the black market. So I'm very intrigued to see the next steps of this bill.
Yeah. And if that bill were to pass and get to Governor Abbott's desk, Texas could lose out about $19.2 million in revenue from taxes on these THC products over the next 2 fiscal years. This has become a part of lives here in the state and in the city as well. And, like now removing it after being allowed since 2019 when there was a bill that was passed, and you can research more into that, but it's been legal since then. And now to take it away, like the stores are going to suffer. It sucks. Like, why are you taking this away from us? It just makes no sense. And then all that product, by the way, that's still going to be there for these stores, it's more than likely going to hit the black market, right? Like they have to get rid of it. They're not just going to throw it away. So then It now goes into the black market. Then what happens? Are things going to be unregulated as we move on from this ban? I don't know. It just doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, we've seen this before with prohibition because things become regulated or they become illegal. It doesn't take away the actual product. And I think there's still a lot of fear with THC and hemp products, which is maybe ruling the push for SB3. But I think it'll be very difficult to regulate this.
One last thing on this, the ban would not eliminate the use of THC for medical purposes. Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick said in a news conference that they would try to expand the compassionate use program, which helps designate, prescription for low THC cannabis to people who need it for medical purposes. So we'll see if they follow up and follow through with that promise as well to expand that program, because again, a lot of people do depend on it. And yeah, just wanted to bring this up, and we'll see what happens. And if it does pass the House, which looks like there is some opposition there, so we'll see. But things are getting a little heated here at the state ledge. Hey parents, looking for a kid's summer camp that's full of adventure and challenges both body and mind? You've got to check out Momentum Indoor Climbing. Indoor rock climbing is gravity-defying fun that will help your child conquer so much. Just recently, my daughter tried out rock climbing, and at first, she was a little afraid. But after scaling up that wall, she found a new sense of confidence. And your child can find that same confidence at Momentum summer camps in Katy and at Sawyer Yards. Momentum offers weekly summer camps for ages 4 to 16 years old. From beginners to experienced climbers, there's something for everyone at Momentum Climbing. Plus, they have half-day and full-day options that fit your schedule. Save 10% on camp registration right now with code CityCast at checkout. Head to momentumclimbing.com/summercamps to sign up today because these camps do fill up fast. Make sure to use CityCast at checkout for your 10% discount. Momentum Indoor Climbing, where summer fun meets adventure.
I can say to my new Samsung Galaxy S25 Ultra, hey, find a keto-friendly restaurant nearby and text it to Beth and Steve. And it does without me lifting a finger, so I can get in more squats anywhere I can. 1, 2, 3.
Will that be cash or credit?
Credit. 4.
Galaxy S25 Ultra, the AI companion that does the heavy lifting so you can do you. Get yours at Samsung.com. Compatible with select apps. Requires Google Gemini account. Results may vary based on input. Check responses for accuracy.
All right, Shafak, it is time for Only in H-Town. Stories that are so unique, fun, heartwarming, wacky, whatever it is. A story that just says, this is H-Town. It can only happen here. You kick things off. What do you got for me?
Well, this year, only in the Houston area, are we going to get a pretty good bluebonnet season. Across the state, there was a ton of drought, but Houston had a lot of rainfall, largely because of Beryl. And because of that, we're going to have a bountiful bluebonnet season.
Oh, nice. That's good to hear that we're going to see some bluebonnets. I was out at the park this past weekend in Sugar Land and for the kite festival. I didn't see any bluebonnets. Like usually when I go to that kite festival around this time of year, like I'll see bluebonnets all over. I haven't seen any. So you're telling me maybe they're just like waiting. But when they do come out, like we're going to get a lot.
Yes, we're at least going to get more than the Austin, San Antonio area and West Texas. Yeah. I went on a walk in Buffalo Bayou and I saw some. So they're slowly popping up now.
Good.
I think peak season is going to be in a few weeks, but only in Houston are we going to get a good season.
Okay, I like hearing that. By the way, I was in the San Antonio area. I was at Canyon Lake over spring break, and that drought is hitting that area bad. Like Central Texas, the Hill Country, it is not faring well right now. They have been hit with a drought for almost 5 years now. Like it is a historic drought. In Canyon Lake, it looked like a pond. It was sad to see. And that lake is usually thriving around spring break with boats all over. There's no boats anywhere. It was just dry and it just looks sad. So yeah, I'm thinking about our friends up there in Central Texas as they deal with this drought, and hopefully things pick up and maybe they get a few bluebonnets as well.
It's rough. It's dry. The burn ban. It's a hard time.
Okay, Shafak, my only in H-Town is a wild one, so buckle up, all right? The president of a Northwest Little League club was removed after it was found that he stole more than $50,000 from the Little League, according to ABC 13. $50,000 went missing from the Oaks Dad Club, which runs baseball, softball, flag football, and other sports for neighborhoods up north. Well, the president, John Barcelo, who I guess, people trusted and they were excited about, he's been removed after some money went missing. There was an investigation, attorneys were hired, and eventually ABC 13 found out that he stole more than $50,000. Now, this is still alleged because he hasn't been charged with any crimes, but $50,000 gone.
That's a year's salary. He just picked it up.
I have so many questions, but before I ask those questions, here's another part of the story that makes it even more only in H-Town. Because only in H-Town would a Little League club make this guy the president after this guy was charged with felony theft in 2018 after he stole more than $312,000 from a company he was working at by stealing copper and then reselling it.
No way. Oh my God. Yeah. Well, habits die hard, I guess. Oh my.
Yeah. How about that? How about we just Google the guy's name before we make him president of this huge club that organizes so many little leagues? And then here's where the questions come in, Shafak. How much are these little league clubs making where they can just have $50,000 go missing?
I don't know. How long did it take them to figure this out? You're right. I have so many questions.
So many questions, right? $50,000 missing. By the way, things are still operating like normal with this Little League club. So they can miss $50,000 and still be fine. So how much is in the bank? Why are we not running Little League clubs here? This is wild.
Hey, they rake in a lot of money, these kids.
Yeah. I am shocked by this, obviously by the stealing, by how much money these Little League clubs are making. I know they're organizing a lot of sports, and you don't have kids, but I do, and it is expensive. Youth sports are expensive. But damn, $50,000 go missing and things are still okay. Yeah. Man, props to them.
Oh my God, does he have to give it back? How's it going to happen?
I don't know. Right. Yeah, no criminal
I have so
charges.
Many questions.
I have so many questions too. So we'll see if there's updates posted about this story. But yeah, that was my only in H-Town, and it was a wild one. Shafak, thank you so much for joining me and hope to have you back on soon.
Thanks for having me.
That was Shafak Patel. You can read all her reporting on Axios Houston with the links in our show notes. I've also dropped all the links to the stories we talked about there as well. And while you're in the show notes, check out that Contact Us link. I would love to hear from you and get your thoughts on today's episode. There's a form linked in the show notes, so send us a message. Before we go, if you're new to the show, welcome, and please subscribe to CityCast Houston. If you've been listening every week for a while now, please share this episode with 3 friends who are rooting for the Cougs. And give us a rating and review wherever you're listening. Thank you. If you want even more news and tips on the best restaurants, festivals, and events around town, check out our daily newsletter, Hey Houston, at houston.citycast.fm. That will do it for today. I'm Rahil Ramzanali. Thank you for listening, and I hope you learned something new.
Yeah, the Houston's oh my God. Gosh, how do y'all do this all the time?